Good day to you. I hope you're doing good, guys. David here with the r.e.a.l podcast. Remove your ego, add light to your life, and add light to the world. That's what r.e.a.l stands for. So thank you guys for being here. Today's a very exciting episode. Today we're opening up a new chapter, the final perhaps chapter in our r.e.a.l story. So just to back up, guys, r.e.a.l is something that I got and had in my gut for many years of how to help a society in becoming a spiritual teacher. I never really thought I would be, but I am becoming one slowly, just wanting to share what I know. I started growing in spirituality in 2019, and I suffered before that. I grew by suffering, but then I started saying, okay, I want to actively grow and just do whatever I can, and got passionate about it. Learned about extraterrestrials, learned about different dimensions, learned about spiritual allies and the ascension process. And then in, where's it going with this? It was in the spring. It was at the beginning of coronavirus. I started having messages from Spirit, and so I got information about what we should learn about. And so there's different chapters to the story. And let me read through those real quick, actually, since this is the last one. The first one was helping those in 3D understand the real world. That's the red pill, and that's where I've spent the most time. I've got 8 videos on my channel, and you'll know those because they start with the number 1, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. Those are great for people who are just learning about spirituality. You don't want to bombard them with all of the things that exist in the cosmos, because for one thing, they're not going to process anything, maybe 5% of it, and they'll probably doubt all of it because you've hammered them with so many things that they can't even process. And following that as a chapter is an easier way to do that. Now, the second chapter is guidance on the truth about extraterrestrials. So that once you're through and you've been red-pilled on how these beings exist, then we can start to talk about the truth about extraterrestrials. So the third chapter is understanding the importance of the frequency that you hold, your consciousness. And so that is going to be focused largely on our energy centers or chakras in the body to develop our own consciousness. This is not necessarily tied to the ascension, so it's separate from that, because these are just things that we should have been taught a long time ago in our churches and in our schools, but we're not taught. And it's they have been in the East traditionally, but not in the Western culture. So consciousness is chapter 3. Chapter 4 is getting ready for the full in-depth ascension process. And I've had videos like the love vibration, like the 3D and 5D Earth divergence. These are things that are happening now or will be happening in the future that are specifically related to our upcoming ascension process that will be occurring. Okay, chapter 5. Now this I haven't done yet, so this will be happening. This is creating a strong cultural vibration for the future, where I like to call native theory. This is like where humanity is going to go in the future, with becoming more spiritual, growing on our consciousness. We are going to become more native, like Native Americans, like tribal cultures throughout the world. And many people on many planets live like that, whether they're modernized or not. If you look at, like for example, if you look at the Apache tribe in Texas, and then if you look at the people, the blue people from the Avatar movie, you see a lot of similarities there. Okay, so how do we get to that? And so that's going to be focused on interviewing musicians who are have music that is related to puts us in a different consciousness, puts us in a different awareness, and other things that help culturally, that help us to grow in a strong cultural vibration for the future. That is different from the past of where we've been. I'm probably not, I used to love Sepultura and Pantera and the Megadeth, but I'm probably not going to be interviewing those guys. Okay, so, and then this is the final chapter. This is what I'm really excited about. Today starts the 6th chapter in the story, Opening the Sky of Future Visions. This is about vision, visualization, and manifestation. So I'm really excited, and this is 6.1, which is Opening the Sky of Vision. I am so excited about this because I'm a visionary person. I'm kind of a creative person, and I love the power of visualizing the future as though it's already here. And we're going to go into that in depth, but it just excites me. It gets me real excited and motivated. And doing that with other people, man, even more so, it gets my blood pumping. And then, so we're going to talk about kind of overview the whole vision and process today. And I like to keep my videos around 30 minutes. And I just want to give you an overview of kind of where some of the future chapters are going to be. Those would include the r.e.a.l collective, the Removing Ego, Adding Light collective. I don't care how big or how small it gets. These are just people who come together that are like-minded, that really just want positive, a world, a healthy world for all of its residents. We want good food, good quality education, good quality water, a healthy planet, and we can have all that stuff. But we need to come together. We, the people, are the power. I've seen that so many times. And let's look at a couple of, just real quick on this. Let's look at a couple movies like Quigley Down Under. If you've seen how Australia is struggling now, and they're arresting people in their houses. Look at what happens at the end of Quigley Down Under. When the British came to take Quigley, they were going to get him. He was outnumbered by like 30 people. Until at the end, because he helped the Aborigines, the Australian Aboriginal people, they came and they had his back, man. And there was a mountainside, like 360 degrees of Aborigines that were there with their spears, and they were ready. And the British took one look at that and they said, oh gosh, we got to go. That is the power of we the people. That is why I want to get into this collective stuff, because we've got to get rid of these corrupt governments. They are destroying the planet. They have no future. They have no, you can't be having these, your son being a millionaire from corrupt dealings and all this just crap and garbage. So I don't want to focus on the crap and the garbage. I want to focus on the future, because by focusing on that, we can create it. I want to talk about the idea of how to create strong communities. I know a lot of people. I want to interview some people on that creation of these strong communities. We've had a lot of these strong communities in the past. Collective energy. How do we have energy, and what does energy look like in the future? What does our food systems look like in the future? And what do our communities look like in the future? What does the built environment look like in the future? It can look much, much different than it does today. And then what does the earth, another add-on to that, what does the earth look like in the future as well? So, I guess first I would say, well, okay, so we're talking about vision. So, okay, what is vision actually? Well, vision is the idea that something in the future can be different than it is your current reality, that it can be better than it is in current reality. Whether it's really good now doesn't really matter. You want to drive to something in the future that is an improvement always. for your family, for your future. So I've talked about the future visions. I kind of want to get into vision and see where we're at with that. And just to let you know, while I'm looking these passages up, part of my role is to help people, that I really want to help people in the future. That's something that is I see as my specific role, and I've never really thought about that with relation to vision, because I've just thought of really my own vision and maybe my family. But here's one message I got about that. The role of Vision King on your planet is a very powerful role in unlocking a door for millions or even potentially billions of people on your planet, for the free existence of their soul to take place in all of its glory, free from any collusion that has taken place over the millennia from dark forces who only sought to control and enslave human souls. There must be a mechanism which can work with these individuals to help them see who they are, what they are capable of, and what their dreams are in life, free of any dark control of their will whatsoever. Only then will they truly be free. So that's really what we're talking about here. Working with other individuals to help them see who they are, what they are capable of, and what their dreams are in life, free of any dark control. Only then will they truly be free. And so that's what I want to, I just want to put it out there. I wanted to talk to people about different issues on what we want this planet to be. Let's throw darts on the wall and see where they cluster together. Who's passionate about, because I think collectively on the planet, and that's what collective means. We're talking about the whole planet. I'm not boxing myself into Texas or the United States or any of those other political boundaries that were from the past. No, this is the whole planet. This is a collective. What do we want? Safe communities, healthy food systems, a good experience on this planet. So that's kind of what comes into helping others. Now, this is really powerful to me. Let us work to rapidly transform people's limited existence. So you first have to realize, guys, that you might have a limited existence currently of the world. In other words, you're walking around and you can only see this. Oh, CNN tells me to be afraid. I've got to be afraid. I'm just seeing the trees. I'm not seeing the forest. Okay. You realize that you have a limited existence, and you work to transform that into a plethora, a gold mine, a lush oasis of opportunity. That is how you want to think about the future of a gold mine, lush oasis of opportunity. Now, at first, it's going to be hard, depending on your background, depending on the trauma that you've suffered. If you just got released from prison, to see what are they going to think of my tattoos? I hope I can get a job. I hope I don't get fired. Whatever. Okay, so there are many others with similar abilities who can be helpful in this journey. So we also have to have the ability to see through the walls of negativity and evil agendas. And we have to work wisely to guide this force on this planet. So there's negative agendas out there that, just try to keep you in low vibrations. So you've got to, in that visioning process, you've got to work diligently to keep the vision true to yourself in your core. Okay, so now we're going to jump from, I might have had, let me just double check real quick, make sure I don't have any other passages on vision. I hope that's helpful, guys. This is the chapter that really gets my blood pumping more than any other, is the idea that we can create whatever we want to create. And so I guess, yeah, this is good. Okay. So now jumping into another part in which we talked about helping people with their passions. I just want to mention, I want to mention excitement for a minute. Whenever we think of the future, we want to think of it with emotion. Always just remember that. You want emotion. You want, and it should come natural. Like, what do you really want? What were you put here on this planet for? What are your real dreams? You know, it could be imagining your daughter in a wonderful college environment. You know, that she's able to fulfill her dreams, and it could be, you know, serving others in that sense. It could be your own, but it's that drive that you have deep within and that excitement. So never forget that emotion. That is what everybody who's done this says. It punches through the walls of challenges and creates success. That positive excitement that you have in that emotions. Okay, now I want to talk about awareness, because with awareness, this is so important part of creating vision in the future in general. Now, this is just a primer for all of the vision chapters. This is your baseline. So this is how to visualize it and achieve in the future. We are powerful creator beings. So with awareness, our perception shapes our reality. You know, we talked a minute ago about that limited box. If you're watching the news media all the time, they keep you in that limited box. Now listen, you are living in a matrix. This is a real key to understanding your reality and what is really going on. I know the truth can be jarringly painful, but it doesn't mean it isn't the truth. But the truth also sets you free. Always. The lies are the distortion that keeps you forever in your box serving your masters. Okay? Now these masters are going to be exposed. In that course of action, you will decipher the truth of this existence, that you had the power to set yourself free all along through the gravitation towards a powerful and positive, loving attention throughout the collective. Now listen, you have had the power all along for many thousands of years to set yourself free, all along through the gravitation towards a powerful and positive, loving attention throughout the collective. People coming together in love and powerful harmony and loving attention. A collective loving energy will harmonize and revolutionize your planet such that no challenges are insurmountable. That is the true heaven's gate, the true shining path, minus the deception of ego and intellect. Staying humble at all times in this collective walk is your path on this planet. See this to be true for you, and it cannot be that reality. You are your own wishing well of truth. And I talked before about how other species consider us their wishing wells. The media, they use the media to manipulate us into fear. They want us to become fearful, so they put out the fear porn. We buy into it, and we create that world. God, man, dude, aren't we sick of that? Aren't we sick of that, guys? I mean, this was 2020, and you've had 6 full months of pumping that crap. It's like it's like injecting. If you were to go to a hospital and inject fat cells directly into your arm, who the hell needs that crap? Get that the hell out of here. We don't want that. As a collective, I speak for the collective. Get out of here with your crap. We don't want you here. We don't need that. We do not associate with that, and we will not create that. Bye-bye. Okay. So, any more on vision in terms of readings? I'm just going to check real quick. So, I don't think so. I think we've fairly covered a lot of that part. So now I really want to drive in next and start talking about what manifestation means. Now, a great resource on this is going to be The Secret, which is a 2006 documentary that overviews, and it's interesting, The Secret, we talk about the old power structures that want to keep all this ancient knowledge hidden, and of how to visualize and how powerful of creator beings we are, and creating and being our own wishing wells for the future. And so the Secret is a really good documentary. Touched on a little bit in other episodes, but they just kind of tell you that, and I forget the lady's name, but I'll link to The Secret. And she was having a really tough time. She had death in the family, and her daughter gave her a book on this, basically on one of the books on The Secret, an older book. So she read that book, and she learned about the techniques of these hidden techniques of the past, and just got on a rampage. And she used that excitement, and she used the Secret to create the Secret, which is beautiful. And she had a beautiful spirit. She put it out. It got produced by an Australian production team and got released throughout the world, and was on Oprah, and traveled the globe, and created a lot of success out of it. Michael Beckwith, I think his name is. So many good people who me and my wife enjoy from that. I guess, yeah, so The Secret. Now, what they did is the whole thing talks about the process of the Secret, which is the law of attraction. Now, they use the law of attraction to manifest anything that they want in their life. And they say, start small with a cup of coffee, okay? So you put the intention out there of what you want, with powerful intention out to the universe. And they show in the documentary, like when you put it out there with that emotion I was talking about earlier, and that excitement, you put that in, that's your call. You want to do that. But you want to do that on a consistent basis. And so you can start small with a cup of coffee, but you can use money, you can get a car, you can get a girlfriend, whatever. And there's people that would put things to where they could see it like a dollar bill, scratch out the dollar and write $20 million bill or whatever, and put it out there. And then the whole documentary, they're talking about how they've achieved this. Okay, medical success. People who were not able to breathe even, and were able to get off their devices and get out of the hospital, even though the doctor said they would never walk again, because they didn't believe that. They knew they could create something. Now, that story was real powerful, the Miracle Man, because what he did is he said, okay, I knew this doctor's crazy. I'm just going to listen to myself. And because what started to happen is he felt the inner voice, which was that intuition. It said, breathe deep, breathe deep. So he started to use his body. Don't use all the technology and crap that they're giving him, but he's using his body and listening to himself, man. And he actually got off of it all, and they call him the Miracle Man. And of course, we've talked so many times on this channel, technology and, and stuff, that's the intellect. And the real thing you got to listen to is your intuition so often, because it's right. And so many of us neglect it. But anyway, he was the whole documentary, these people were able to manifest. Now, part of my issue with The Secret is they talk about things which, if you're watching it, and granted, this was 2006, and but a lot of it seemed to be about service to self. And a lot of the speakers would say, like Joe Vitale and those guys would say, well, you're going to realize when you achieve these things over your lifetime that the things aren't important, and you're going to want to try to help others. But we're really at a time on this planet where we're going to be becoming a collective, and so we're going to be focusing on service to others. That is our real path forward on this planet. We've seen where service to self gets you, and not very far. So why don't we just, that's my big thing, why don't we just focus on service to others and see and use the power of manifesting to do that? So that's where I'm really excited about. And so that's kind of an overview on manifestation and the power of the secret. So by you want to imagine that reality as though you've already achieved it, and to feel it so solidly that you know every inch. If you want a restaurant, for example, you know every inch of that building, and you can even do crazy stuff like imagine yourself walking in the restaurant, talking to people and everything. Imagine and feel that emotional intensity, and do that on a regular basis. And you cannot help but to accomplish that. Now, the reason for that is because we are all powerful creator beings. We are powerful creator beings, and we're creating that reality, and there's opportunities that come about. And in the future, once we get into the new earth, many people are saying with their intuition that we are going to be, you think of something, it immediately happens. And dreams within a dream, you can already do that because you're already in a higher dimension. But yeah, that's how it's going to be. And you'll be able to think of a building, and boom, the building will be created. Belief is a very, very powerful thing. Now, Brad Johnson's put out a great series of videos where he's narrating the Masters of the Far East documentary, and I want to serve a link to that on this channel because it talks about these ancient Tibetan masters and how, or India, I think it was, and how they would create things out of scratch, create bread, create fish, as Jesus has done, and have that ability. But starts with that belief, starts with that powerful belief and that faith, like potatoes, that you can create it. And so that's what vision starts with. And so this kind of foundation is very important to the future of vision on the planet. So a couple other things I want to note, and then I just want to wrap up with a few last minute things to keep in mind. Wayne Dyer's had a series of believe it and you'll see it. If you'll see it, you'll believe it. I'm sorry, if you believe it, then you'll see it. That talks about this, about basically the law of attraction. I remember a lot of people struggle. A lot of people have difficult lives. And I remember some PBS commercials where these were inner city kids of color, and they talking about how when they grew up, they watched PBS. And a kid was saying when he'd have to run home after school to catch Mr. Rogers or shows like that, or Bob Ross. And it just, these were kids from the hood, and so they saw nothing good around them at all. It was all just crap, and they didn't see a future. But when they turned on that TV, it was really important because it allowed them to see a world and to see people enjoying a world that was much different. And so that was real powerful example for that from people who don't come from the background where they would expect that. So another kind of opposite example of that is Roger Waters. Roger Waters was the original lead singer of Pink Floyd. And, if you watch the movie The Wall, you kind of see his reality. Okay, so here's a guy who was actually, probably, successful, very successful, maybe a millionaire musician, but in his head, he just could never, he had created that success, but in his mind, he was so distraught because the environment he grew up in, post-war World War II England, he actually grew up in the World War, where there were sirens from the air raids from the Nazi planes and stuff, and there were bombing threats, and those kids that grew up then just have faced so much trauma. And so he could never really snap out of that, which you see that if you watch The Wall, you really get a glimpse into kind of a lower negative vibration where there's no good future. It's all like thinking like the future is like 1984, and it's just going to be just garbage. So that's kind of a counter. What you believe is what you're creating. So do you want to create a prison, a garbage world where we're just mindless slaves, or do you want to create a absolute paradise? It does not matter what your condition is, because I just gave you two examples of people that came from hellish conditions. One chose one and one chose the other. Now, the person of color chose the positive road, and people would say, "Oh, that's not possible," or it's too hard, or whatever. Look, you believe it, it's going to happen. That's how this world works. And if you don't, doesn't matter what your race is. Yes, I agree. It's a lot harder probably if you're a person of color and you come from those backgrounds, but still, whatever you believe is what you're going to create. Okay, so I want to wrap up with kind of in notes about vision. And vision, actually, I've talked about intuition. So we have the intuition versus intellect video. So what happens is vision actually merges with intuition and is an internal thing. So in other words, it's not exactly, it's not asking others what I should do with my life. A lot of people think about what do they want to do with their future. And they'll go out and they'll talk to their mom, or they'll talk to their sister, or they'll type on the internet and say, what should I become in the future? And people give you all kinds of crap. Some maybe some not crap, some good examples of, oh, I've known you for 5 years and I think you would be a great so-and-so. And that's wonderful. I'm not saying you shouldn't ask them, but I'm saying that you should also ask yourself, ask your own guidance and wisdom and intuition for a bubbling up of knowing. Let it bubble up, let it flow organically, whatever you're creating, and to become a creator being, and start small and don't lose momentum. Don't try to force it. I had a business where I was building furniture, and I had some really creative ideas and a lot of enthusiasm, but unfortunately I listened to too many other experts on running a business, and people trying to tell me to find ways to sleep 4 hours a week, or even a training I went through where people told me they didn't go to birthday parties for 10 years. So you need to have that level of commitment to just kind of ostracize your family. And, I'm not saying don't listen to others, but don't be indoctrinated by others. You got to listen to yourself, let it bubble up and flow organically. In the end, all that kind of stuff was a mistake. The times when I let it flow, and don't force it. Those are the times where your business grows, or whatever you're doing grows the best. And all this kind of stuff leads in the future to a synchronicity that you're going to start to see, a synchronicity with others, people, where a wonderful, amazing coworker might emerge from out of nowhere that you had no idea was possible. And when you really allow it to blossom and flower, creatively in your visioning work and your visioning process, then it can be a really beautiful stream of wonderful. You don't know where that sometimes it's going to be rocky, sometimes it's going to be a waterfall, but you don't know where it's leading to. But you just let it flow, and it will get you there. And the last thing I'll mention is once you're off onto the races of creation in life, you can expect to see, don't create it, but you can expect that there will be some challenges. There will be maybe some dark forces. Let's say you create something really powerful and you're at your most holistic expression of yourself. You're really happy. And there might be somebody who knows you and is not happy that you're successful and is trying to downplay that or whatever. okay? Just know that that's going to be there. Don't let that stop you. Keep doing what you're doing. Okay, I'm going to end it there, guys. We're at about 35 minutes. This is the foundation for the visioning work that we're going to do. This is the chapter that I am the most excited about. This is why I'm here, to help people develop their vision, to help connect people, and to create the inroads to the future that we want on planet Earth. Because I will tell you this, in no uncertain terms, this planet is headed to a beautiful, magnificent, wonderful future, and nothing can and nothing will stop that from happening. It is, in fact, already underway. Love you guys. Have a great day.